allegations of human rights violations have continued to implicate government forces and its allies. We have received disturbing reports that local fishermen found dozens of bodies floating along the river crossing between Western Tigray and Sudan in July. During the period under review, the Tigrayan forces have allegedly been responsible for attacks on civilians, including indiscriminate killings resulting in nearly 76,500 people displaced in Afar and an estimated 200,000 in Amhara.
Well, let's cross then to Addis Ababa. We're going to speak to correspondent Maria Gerth-Niculescu, who joins us from there. So, Maria, the region of Tigray, I mean, really cut off from the world, really, with sporadic fighting obviously continuing.
Yes, well, since the month of June, when the Tigrayan TPLF forces took back most parts of the region, Tigray has been almost completely inaccessible. Communication lines are still completely shut down. Fighting is now happening mainly in the areas around Tigray. In the south and in the west, we have the Amhara region. The Amhara regional forces and militia groups have been extremely mobilized in this war, firstly because they're claiming parts of western Tigray, but also because they're trying to prevent TPLF forces from advancing further into Amhara, which could enable the Tigrayan forces to reach Sudan and then open a much-needed supply route. East of Tigray, we have the Afar region with the road leading to neighboring Djibouti. The Ethiopian government said that it has recently pushed back all TPLF forces from the Afar region, a claim that was denied by TPLF leaders. Generally speaking, it seems like TPLF forces were forced to retreat from several areas in the recent weeks after really pushing forward throughout the summer. But fighting is continuing. I was able to go to central Amhara region last week. The area is still heavily militarized, and we were regularly hearing the sound of heavy weapons being fired towards the areas south of Tigray.
Maria, that's the situation fighting-wise. What does that mean on the ground and, of course, for the people living there, the humanitarian situation?
Well, from Tigray, the information that we're getting is mainly from international and humanitarian organizations who are virtually almost the only people able to access this region, even though in a limited way the airspace remains completely closed. And there's only one accessible road at the moment leading into Tigray. Since the month of June, there's been several occasions where for many days there's been not a single truck carrying food supplies or medicines allowed into Tigray. However, the situation there since fighting broke out last November has been extremely complicated. The humanitarian crisis has been worsening by the day. The UN says that more than 400,000 people are facing famine in Tigray, and people in the region are unable to access their cash since banks remain completely closed. There's also a humanitarian crisis evolving in Afar and Amhara. More than 300,000 people have been displaced due to the recent fighting. A few days ago, I spoke to displaced families in Amhara who said that they've been fleeing attacks against civilians and killings by TPLF forces in the Amhara region.
Maria, thanks very much. Maria Gerth-Niculescu talking to us live there from Addis Ababa.